everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Phil Honig, and this is...
Emma Brett.
Emma, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm in the middle of a possible tornado, but other than that, we're good to go.
That is excellent. Also, Emma, congratulations on graduating.
Thanks. Congratulations to you, too. We both have degrees.
We're just killing it right now. All right, so I want to talk about the Bachelorette last night.
Yes, but before we do that, we have to go through something a few days ago with the bios.
With the what? Sorry, got out for a second. What?
With the bios for each person.
Oh, with the bios, yes. That will be part of it.
Yes.
So what we want to do is just sort of go through every contestant alphabetically and just talk about what we expected and then what we actually got, and then maybe a little bit of what we're expecting moving forward. So the first person we want to talk about is Andrew. Now, Andrew is 30 years old, and he's a social media marketer. He got cut. Not gonna lie, I'm not exactly surprised. In my pre-show notes, I had him listed as a goober, just because his information was a lot about food, and I don't really think that makes for compelling television. What about you?
Well, the thing is, you look at his information, and there's absolutely nothing that stands out. You look at it, and you forget him immediately, and he, on the show, also didn't come across as interesting at all, so I'm also not surprised he got cut. He seemed like a major D-bag, and I'm happy that Andy cut him.
So am I. I'm also against the term social media marketer in principle, but that might just be me. We'll talk a little bit more about Andrew as he relates to Pat coming up a little bit later in the episode.
But not too much more, because they both suck.
Not too much more, so exactly. All right, so that moves on to Bradley, the opera singer. Obviously, that's the important thing to notice. What were your impressions about him beforehand? What were you thinking? Were you expecting a Charlene type, or were you expecting...
No, I was not expecting a Charlene type, because no one can top or come close to Charlene on the last season of The Bachelor. I think the biggest mistake they could have made is going for another opera singer, and I think they just kind of went in and wanted that to be as successful as Charlene was, and I automatically kind of had a negative take on him. So, sorry Bradley, it's not your fault. You can't come in like that.
I wanted to go through some of his information, though, because he listed 3 favorite movies as A Wonderful Life, Braveheart, and Spaceballs. Now, those are 3, those are all over the spectrum, if I'm being honest. So I was very unsure of what to expect. Also, he said he wants to build a universal church.
I honestly cannot even talk about his answers to his questions without getting upset, because everything he said just really rubbed me the wrong way.
Wow.
Besides maybe the pilot's license thing, which is normal, I guess. Like, come on.
There was another guy who wanted to get his pilot's license.
And that's fine.
So I guess...
Just his answers. What's your worst date? Realizing there's no compatibility. Well, duh.
Yeah, that was bad.
Like,
I'll be honest.
I want to build a church for everyone in the world. Come on, dude. Come on.
All right. One other thing before we move on, because this is really all I really want to say about him. He had the worst suit of anybody the entire night. It just didn't look like it fit very well.
Yeah.
It was just bad. I really hope he gets his suit tailored. And like for an opera singer, you would expect that. You would expect that he would be
very well groomed. Yeah.
Fashion forward, but you would expect him to be a little bit more well groomed than he actually was. I think he'll last a couple rounds, but I don't know if he makes it past week 3. Honestly.
He doesn't make it past week 2 in my mind. I think he's gone.
Wow.
I think I'm just rubbed the wrong way by Bradley, but oh well. Let's move on.
Maybe she has positive feelings for Charlene, and so she's just gonna keep him going a little bit longer. I don't know.
Maybe. Could be it. Okay, so Brett is number 3.
Yeah. All right, tell me, what is Brett's occupation?
Well, he's a hairstylist, so there's nothing. I mean, hairstylists are great. We need hairstylists, but I was a little just questioning whether or not Andy, who's very career-oriented and loves her life as an attorney, would go someone who is a hairstylist. I'm not trying to insult people who are hairstylists. I'm just don't know how that would mesh.
I got you. That was my first question too.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else that rubbed you the wrong way about him. Could you expound on that?
Okay, Ryan Reynolds, favorite actor. Okay, Ryan Reynolds, he's a fine actor. He's a very attractive man. But if I'm putting answers into a questionnaire that's going to appear online for millions of people to see, and someone asks me my favorite actor, I'm not going to say Ryan Reynolds, especially not if I'm an adult straight male. Like, I just don't think that's anyone's. Well, look at his repertoire. All his stuff is like romantic comedies, which again is fine, but I don't think. Yeah, I think that was a dumb answer on his part, and I don't think it can possibly be a legitimate answer.
All right. So do you know if the Bachelorette actually gets to read this stuff or not?
That's a really interesting question. I have no idea if she reads this. I mean, she can look at him now, but I guess it doesn't matter at this point.
True. Yeah. As for him in the show, he brought a lamp as his opening gift.
He did.
I don't know how to take that.
He seemed like he was going for. I mean, it's supposed to be a joke, but I don't feel like he quite pulled it off, and it just fell flat for everyone.
Yeah. To her credit, Andy was very nice about it. She was very nice about everybody, actually. She was very positive about everybody's gifts. But it was weird. I'm not gonna lie, because when he stepped out of it, you sort of expected that he would have some sort of symbolic nature, like, oh, this lamp was given to me by my grandma. It represents the love in my heart, or something like that. But
yeah, I don't know.
It was just a lamp from the hotel. It was like a cat bringing a dead mouse to its owner, I guess, was the image that came up in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it was weird.
It was weird.
He's another guy that I don't think stays around very long, especially if he tells her that his favorite actor is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, no, the only thing he has going for him is his first name is my last name, so that's cool, but
wait,
also...
his name is... Oh, his first name is your last name.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, his name's Brett?
I wish his name was Brett. That'd make him a little more interesting, but I'm not in on him.
Alright, so if you had to make a week prediction, 4?
Yeah, I would say week 4, middle of the pack.
Okay. Moving on to Brian. Brian also made it through. Brian is a basketball coach. Now, what level do you think he's at? I think he's a high school basketball coach, honestly. To me, he seemed like he was still stuck in high school. He said his most proud moment was sinking a shot in the district championship game.
Yeah, it's definitely high school.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I don't think he makes it very far again. I say that about a lot of these people, but whatever. He likes the kiss cam, though. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people like the kiss cam. It's a pretty popular.
Like the kiss cam's kind of a dividing thing.
I mean, it's only awkward if you're sitting next to someone who you're not on kiss cam terms with.
That's true. That's kind of my thing about it is how do they select these people? Do they have to be showing a lot of affection to each other beforehand? I don't know,
but I think it's funny when it's awkward, at least as a watcher, as a viewer of the kiss cam. Maybe that makes me a mean person.
Nah, whatever.
But yeah, no, I understand your feelings on Brian being like stuck in high school, whatever. But he wasn't horrible on the show. He came across more polite than I expected.
Okay, that's fair.
And he's cute.
So, all right, sure.
I don't know. I think he'll stick around a little bit. I don't think he's engagement material for her, but I could see her keeping him around.
Okay. How about Chris?
Chris is my favorite. Wait, did you intentionally skip over Carl?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
I actually didn't think to say about Carl. Carl.
Carl comes off really serious to me.
I really only have two things to say about Carl. Actually, I just have one thing to say about Carl. Carl listed his favorite author, or his favorite artist, as Banksy. And screw Banksy, honestly. I don't have anything else to say about Banksy.
Okay.
It's just such a I'm very artsy answer, but not really, because he's the only artist that I actually know.
Yeah. I mean, he does have a dog, though, so that kind of evens it out.
I guess I could give them extra points. Do you know what kind of dog it is?
It's an American Bulldog.
Okay, so you're a Bulldog person, aren't you?
I'm a very big Bulldog person, so that gives him a lot of points in my book, but I'm not sure if Andy has mentioned any proclivity towards animals at all, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. She seems like an animal person to me.
I could see her being a cat lady, honestly.
Really?
But like in a good way, not like in a spinster way.
Okay, interesting. We'll monitor the situation as it goes forward.
We will.
Because I think a lot of these people have pets, so.
Yeah, I think so.
So the topic should probably come up at some point.
I think it will.
Let's go to Chris. Chris the farmer, your favorite guy.
I love Chris the farmer. I think Chris was great. He actually seemed like he had like honest, sincere answers, if not. I mean, all the answers are pretty much generic, like let's be real, but I didn't mind his answers as much, and he's a farmer, hard worker, but he also he's like filthy rich apparently, but he didn't mention his money at all. He didn't mention like, oh, I'm a third generation farmer, and by the way, I have like all this money. I felt like he was very not putting that on display, and I automatically liked that about him.
Okay, well, I mean, he's a farmer, so I mean, most farmers aren't very big on throwing their money around, I guess.
Yeah.
I would guess. I don't know. I don't know that many farmers, to be honest.
I don't either.
They seem like down to earth people. The one thing I will say is that most farmers have most of their money tied up in their land, so they don't have bankrolls just stacked in their cars.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the other things. I actually really liked Chris though. I think he's going to go far. Now that I thought about it for a little while. I did have two problems with his answers though. He says one of his favorite magazines was Forbes. I really doubt that. I don't know. It absolutely could be true, but I don't know. If I had to guess, I would put the over/under on number of Forbes articles he's ever actually read at 5.
Okay. Fair assessment.
Also, he wants to lunch with Jim Harbaugh.
And
I don't understand. Jim Harbaugh is not somebody you would want to have a lunch with. He just seems like the kind of person who would sit there the entire time, staring deeply into your soul and then yelling at the waitress. He's just a very intense person, and I don't think that he would be an engaging person to actually share a meal with.
But
also, he wears like $8 Walmart khakis, so I feel like he would want to take you to like some really he would want to take you to like McDonald's or something.
Yeah, like Breadco or something.
Yeah, Breadco is probably the one because he seems kind of healthy, so.
Yeah, I guess he's at Breadco. I don't know. He probably didn't put that much. Honestly, some of these questions, it's like you don't really have an answer, and you're just kind of stretching and reaching for one, I feel like. So I feel like with that, he was just kind of like, oh, I look up to this guy, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like him, and the fact that he said his biggest date fear was accidental diarrhea, I feel like that was a really like comical, in real life answer. Like, yes, that would be terrifying.
That
Good for you,
really,
Chris.
really terrible.
Good for you. Yeah.
All right, so moving on to Cody, because we both expect Chris to go far. I think he makes it to at least week 5 or 6.
I think he goes to Fantasy Suite. I do.
Really? Wow.
Yep. I think she's attracted to him. I think there's chemistry.
Okay.
Cody.
Oh, yes, Cody. Sun's out. Let's be real here.
Like, with his entrance...
Cody was not about to let his entire night be pulled down by the fact that he had to wear a suit jacket. He really wanted to show off his arms.
Okay, real talk question. With his entrance, like pushing up the car, did he think of that himself, or did the producers make him do that?
I don't know. Like because it seems like something he would want to do. Because he seems very into the fact that he's a personal trainer.
Oh yeah.
So he probably said, "I want to show off my strength and athleticism as my like entrance," and then they probably just said, "Hey, why don't you just push the limo up?" He was like, "You know what? That sounds like a great idea."
Yeah, that was...
Do you think he stretched beforehand?
I don't think... I mean, he was wearing a suit. Well, he wasn't, though. Well, yeah, he was.
I mean, he didn't have, like, pit stains or anything, so it's not like he did an entire workout beforehand, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did a little bit of a warm-up. You know, maybe jogged for a couple minutes or something. I don't know. I just got no sense of chemistry between them at all. Like, I don't know. He's got some thick pythons though. One other thing I did like about him, although I will say this, he said his favorite book was My Side of the Mountain. Now, My Side of the Mountain is actually a fantastic book, but the problem is that I read it in 4th grade, and it wasn't like a book like The Giver, where there's this deeper meaning that other people outside of children can glean from it. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of a book where a kid decides that he wants to run away and live in the Catskills and train a falcon that he basically steals from its nest. I don't know. It's a really good book, and there's an entire series about it. But weird choice for a 28-year-old man's favorite book.
I don't know. I haven't read it, so I can't attest to that, but I'll take your word for it.
All right. I'll let you borrow it sometime if you want.
Yeah, I'm interested.
All right. Moving on to Craig. Instead of writing in or out, I literally just wrote Craig.
I like Craig.
Craig, is he in or out? Did he make it?
I actually can't remember. Which...
all right, whatever. We'll figure this out in a bit. Craig listed his occupation as tax accountant. Mm-hmm. Based on where he lived, I'm going to guess that he actually works for H&R Block.
They need tax accountants everywhere.
That's true, but I don't know. I just got the sense. Okay. Also, something really bothered me from his bio. When he talked about the sweetest present he ever received, mm-hmm. He said that he received a book with like pictures and basically a scrapbook about his.
Yep, I know where you're going with this.
He referred to it in the present tense, which I thought was really, really weird.
Yes. That is a little weird, but I think it was probably just an honest mistake, and he probably does still think it's awesome, despite the fact that the relationship was obviously not so awesome, unless he's secretly still in a relationship, and it's going to be one of those where the girlfriend comes on and yells at him type thing. But I don't think so.
That would be mildly incredible. I don't know. I kind of hope it happens. I didn't get the sense from any of these guys that this was one of those seasons where that would happen. But anything could happen, you know?
Anything could happen on Bachelorette. But yeah, I like him. I think he's goofy.
All right. Do you have anything else to say about him?
I really don't. I just think he's funny and he has a goofy smile, so I like him.
Okay, cool. Dylan. Now, we didn't see too much of Dylan, but I've got... Dylan is from Massachusetts, and Dylan is a classic masshole.
Can you explain more about the term masshole?
A masshole is just the person from Massachusetts who just lords it over everybody else that they are from Massachusetts and can't understand why anybody else would think that they live in a pleasant region at all, and everybody else should try to live like they're from Massachusetts. That's a masshole.
So it's like people from Texas.
Yes, it's the Massachusetts version of people from Texas.
Got it.
Sorry to anybody who's from Texas. The reason I say this is he wants to have lunch with Tom Brady, and if he could do something for a day, he'd be the Red Sox GM. So yeah, he's a little bit too into Boston. Is my point. Also, he seems like a D-bag getting out of the limo. So
yeah, he seems like he knows he's good looking, which he is. He's very good looking. He's muscular, and you can tell that he knows that.
Yeah, he was very smug, and I'm not particularly rooting for him. Also, I don't think he likes people with disabilities. He said that his worst date fear was that his date would be mute. and that they would just have to sit there in awkward silence.
That was a little bit awkward of him to say, but I don't know. I don't think they put much time into these answers, which I would if I were doing it, but I think they're just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Dylan rubs me the wrong way, I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping he goes home next week.
I mean, his favorite drink, he put apple juice, which is just kind of a little blah. Like, if I have, favorite drink, soft drink is a dumb question, but if I'm going to get that question, I'm going to at least try to say something interesting, like cherry vanilla Coke or something. I mean, that's not really interesting, but it's not apple juice, you know, or like, just anything.
Yeah, but I mean, is it any worse than somebody saying that their favorite soft drink is Coca-Cola? Which, I mean, that's what I would say. Well, either that or Mountain Dew, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, no, that would be a lot better to say, because that is the best soft drink, but I think apple juice is kind of a weird answer. Like, is anyone that excited about apple juice?
Apparently, Dylan is.
Okay, well, good for
Yeah,
Dylan.
I'm really disappointed too because I really wanted to do a lot of Dylons this season, and apparently I'm just not going to be able to cheer for this guy. So, kind of disappointing, but whatever.
Yeah.
Emil. Not Emil. Emil.
Let me just say that the fact that he described his name as like anal with an E and then an M, like, that was funny.
Yeah, I like that. I was in on him. I'm really sad that he went out. But
he's too old for her. He looks...
Oh, he's 33.
I know that's not a huge big difference, but he looks 33 if not older, and I don't know. I don't think she'd be into it. But she obviously wasn't, so...
I don't know. He seems pleasant enough, though. And he seems a little wonky.
He seems like an uncle, like a nice, like, comforting uncle who is going to go, like, along the journey and help her. Not like somebody she was going to end up dating.
So you're saying he would be the... who was the mom from last season? From the Bachelorette? Renee, yeah. So you're saying he could have been kind of like the Renee?
Yeah, I could definitely see him.
Guidance of everybody?
Yeah, I could definitely see him as the house dad.
Yeah, okay. He has some really interesting stuff in his profile, though. He desperately wants to be a fighter pilot. He says his favorite movie was Top Gun. He's a helicopter pilot, so I assume that means he would rather be an airplane pilot. And he said his uncle was in the Air Force. So I'm gonna psychoanalyze him a little bit and say that he feels unfulfilled because he really wants to be a fighter pilot.
I'll go with you on that. I think you're right, and I think he gave really long answers to these questions. Like, if you notice, the other guys have, like, usually just one line of stuff under the questions. He has multiple lines for almost every question. He was very verbose.
Hey.
You just really wanted us to know the true him, and I appreciate that.
We didn't get to know him for that long, so I appreciate it, honestly.
Yeah, good for him.
Also, he said he's been to 42 states, but he's never been to Chicago.
That is bizarre. Like, if you've been to that many states, haven't you just at least driven through Illinois?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was weird. Also, you told me that you didn't like Willy Wonka.
I hate Willy Wonka. Come on.
Why do you hate Willy Wonka?
It's creepy and it's like the kids die. Like, you don't realize that, but the kids like
they don't die.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. Have you heard the book?
No, because I hate the movie. It scarred me for life.
The book is much less creepy, and the kids do not die. There just wasn't enough time for that explanation to happen at the end of the movie. So, yeah.
Well, they should have put that in because that turned me off.
It's a fantastic movie, and I just don't understand your opinion at all on this.
It's the same thing with Wizard of Oz. I just can't do it without feeling weird.
Disappointing. Okay, Jason, the 35-year-old urgent care physician.
I'm not surprised he left. Like, he's not very attractive, no offense to Jason. And his entrance was so awkward that even Andy had a hard time playing it off. And I feel like she naturally puts everyone at ease, but even that was a little awkward for her.
Yeah, it did not go well. I have in my notes that I totally get why he's still single.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Even though he's a doctor, I feel like there's a lot to look at.
They need to stop putting doctors on the show because they had one last year, and he was even worse than this guy was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get the appeal of putting, theoretically every girl's like, oh, doctor. But
And like none of them ever play it up either. I remember the other guy not being like, "Hey, I'm an ER doctor. I save people's lives on a daily basis." I feel like that should at least get you a single rose.
I think so too, but Jason didn't work it.
Yeah, he did have his date story was really, really funny though. It was just extremely Minnesotan too, which I thought was incredible because it was something about he got trapped. He was in a tent or a cabin and got trapped under like 7 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed very Minnesotan to me.
That does seem very Minnesotan.
But whatever.
I don't know. I have nothing to say about him. I'm glad he's gone. I didn't like him.
Whatever. I don't know. I kind of wish there would be one creepy dude who just sort of hung around for a while.
Yeah.
I think it would make everything pretty interesting. JJ, next guy. What did you think about the pantspreneur?
Reading his bio and looking at it, he has a really nice sweater on. He was on his sweater game. I really liked JJ. I was excited. I pretty much liked his answers, even though he had Willy Wonka as a movie too, but whatever, I'll get past it. But on the show, he came off a little whiny to me, and I'm a little turned off on JJ.
Okay, I got you. He described himself as huggable, which I think is a really great adjective. If you're going to have 3 best qualities, being huggable is definitely a good one.
100%. That was like, yes, I'm automatically wanting him to go far. Like, I agree. But
no, here's my thing about JJ. JJ describes himself as a pantspreneur, and he has his girlfriend that he's talked about in his ex-girlfriend that he talked about in his profile. She lived in China and went to Burning Man. So I feel like he might be looking for somebody a little bit more wild than Andy. I mean, Andy seems like a pretty conservative girl.
She's definitely conservative, I would say.
So I don't know if they're right for each other, or if I don't think she's what he's looking for. I
could definitely see that based upon that. I mean, I'm willing to give him a chance. I want to get to know him a little more, but.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I'm not gonna completely judge the guy on one appearance.
Ex-girlfriend, so. Yeah, but I don't see his ex-girlfriend doesn't seem like very similar to how Andy is, but. We'll
put a hold on him.
Yeah, I can't really predict how. I feel like he could either go home next week or he could make it to final 3. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but I want to stop talking about him because I want to start talking about Josh B.
Josh B.
Josh B, the telemarketer.
Josh B, It's not very surprising that Josh B went home, in my opinion. But he was.
So what do you think caused him to go on such a rant?
I think he was just extremely embarrassed. Like he said, a friend put him up to the show. Whether that's true or not, I don't think he was expecting. He's a good-looking guy. He's probably a little bit into himself. He seemed a little full of himself. Greatest achievement, completing first marathon under by target time, and I get the impression that he's not very used to being rejected. So to be rejected so blatantly on national television, I think was a little hard for him to swallow.
I got you. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a very interesting rant. Yep. I mean, there are worse things than getting flown out to Los Angeles, I feel like.
Yeah, he made it seem like he had to go through Survivor before he went to Bachelorette. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he was also kind of drunk at that point, but.
I mean, they all are at that point.
I know, but do people on this show, because this is the first season that I'm actually actively watching, do people on this show really get as curse-slammered as all the women do?
I honestly notice it more during Bachelor season. So when it is more women, I don't know if they play it up more because it's women and it's funnier or whatever they're going for there, but I definitely notice it more with the women.
I can definitely see it being funny because when guys get really drunk around other guys and they're competing, the testosterone level gets extremely high and everybody just sort of gets really aggressive. So I could definitely see them trying to just play up the funny aspect of it. But I don't know, something interesting to monitor as the season goes on.
Holy shit. Sorry. Go on.
This is a family show, Emma.
There is a storm raging out there. But it's all good in my little place.
Are you guys actually under tornado warning or just tornado watch right now?
I don't know, because I don't have any access to news or anything right now, but I don't hear sirens, so I'm probably good. It's just like a lightning type situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Anyway.
Alright, for sure?
Yeah, moving on.
Alright, cool. We are moving on to Josh M. Now, I think Josh M makes it at least to the fantasy suite.
I wasn't sure what to think about Josh M at first, but I think I could see that. But you're gonna go into you tell me why. I don't think he's gonna win, but what's your opinion?
I don't know if he wins. I think there's a lot of similarities to Juan Pablo, but here's why I think he goes very far. Now, do you know what Josh M's full name is?
No.
Josh Murray. Do you know who Josh Murray's brother is?
What's it? Aaron Murray?
Aaron Murray, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know who Aaron Murray is?
Nope, but you do.
Aaron Murray, for the past 4 years, has been the quarterback for the University of Georgia. And that means that right now, Aaron Murray is basically the most popular athlete in all of Georgia.
So
now,
she definitely knows that. Andy's from Atlanta, so
exactly.
She knows this probably, right? She has to know who he is.
I doubt it, because I don't think that they know much about these people before the show starts. So I think as soon as he drops that bomb, I think that basically guarantees him at least a spot in the fantasy suite.
I don't know. That's a pretty strong take on that right there. Because do you think she's the type of girl to just bring someone along just because of that?
Well, also remember, she said that he was her type. So
she definitely was impressed by him.
I think those two factors together are going to take him a long way.
But did you notice his eyebrows though? I feel like
they were bushy.
They're pretty weird. I don't know. I think he needs to do something about that.
All right, Emma, let's talk about Marcus. Now, I've gotten in my notes that he seems short. Did you get that sense from him?
He did seem a little short to me. He's listed at 6'2", which isn't short, but I, again, as with a lot of these men, am not quite sure about if that's their actual height. But she did, when he got out of the limo, her reaction was wow. She literally spoke wow and looked really, blown away, he was the most attractive man ever.
Well, she remarked about that actually later on in the episode, so
yeah.
Something to watch, I guess. Now, interestingly, he's 25. He's 2 years younger than she is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been kind of a theme that most of these people are older, older than her. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to being so much younger than pretty much everybody else. Other than that, he's Canadian. He apparently grew up in Europe, which he doesn't mention anything about that on his bio, but I mean, I really didn't have that too much to say about this guy. He just sort of, I don't know, he sort of was there and is apparently really attractive.
Yeah, he's not a standout, but he is really good looking, so that automatically, I think, will take him a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I don't know. He seems very generic. What's your idea of the ultimate date? Walking on a beach.
Yeah.
Under the moon. All right. Yeah.
That's everyone's idea of a date. Come on, be a little original.
So, yeah, I think he'll last at least halfway through. But I don't see him as a real front runner. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a few weeks, but I also agree that he's not going to be there in the final 3. But I'm kind of over him because I'm really excited to move on to our next Bachelor.
All right. Markel has in one episode stolen the hearts and minds of America. I'm just going to put that out there.
I'm calling next. If he doesn't win, if he doesn't make it to the end, he's next Bachelor.
I completely agree. He is just, if you're grading people on delightfulness as human beings, he's a 10 out of 10.
He is. I mean, first of all, he's looking really good in his promo pic.
He's got a jacket on, and he's got a shawl collar, and he's got a really strong pocket square game. I don't know if you noticed that.
He does. And his smile, he has really, really white teeth, which is the first thing I tend to notice. And he's just looking really good. And his answers were perfect.
Oh, his answers were great. I mean, you find out that he has a master's degree, so he's at least decently intelligent. I thought his two answers, what's a typical Saturday night like? And then if you could be someone else for just one day, were really revealing. Because he said, my typical Saturday night is Netflix, cookies, and wine. So I'm pretty sure that's pretty much every woman's dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said if he could be someone else for a day, he said he'd be Batman, which is, I immediately identify with him. So.
Yes, I think Batman is the sexiest of the superheroes, so he definitely gets points there. And yeah, if I had to rank my top three things.
You think Batman is sexier than Superman?
Yes. Superman's too pretty. He's too generically good looking, where Batman has that kind of edge, that kind of dangerousness. Yeah, Batman's sexier.
All right, interesting. I would have picked Superman, but I don't judge the attractiveness of superheroes very much, so.
I definitely do, and Batman wins.
Yeah, I honestly think he goes to the fantasy suite.
I could see it.
I think him, Chris the Farmer, and Aaron Murray are my picks to go to the fantasy suite at this point.
Oh, I agree with Chris. I don't know if I agree with Aaron. Is that his name? Isn't Aaron?
Josh Murray. Sorry.
You're thinking of brother. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about Josh, but I agree with Chris Farmer. But yeah, I mean, Markel literally fed her cookies.
Yeah, that was ballsy and brilliant at the same time. So I'm rooting for him.
It was so cute. Yeah, I love him. If she doesn't want him, I will gladly take him. Send him my way.
Although, let's be real, that was a ton of cookies.
Oh yeah, he had 30 cookies out there.
Yeah, that was a nice spread of cookies. I'm not gonna lie. And
maybe it was to share to make friends.
They all looked really good too. It wasn't just oh, here's some sugar cookies.
Do you think he made them, or do you think his mom made them, or did he buy them?
I'm sure they were provided to him, because I don't know where he would make them.
True.
Because apparently they're staying in a hotel, and unless this hotel has a nice bakery or a nice oven in the rooms, I doubt it.
Yeah.
So they were probably just provided by production. But I don't know. Maybe he's an excellent cookie chef himself.
Maybe. Yeah.
Do you think he's going to be just baking cookies the entire season?
I really hope so. I think that would reduce the tension in the house. Everyone likes cookies. Everyone likes to not be hungry. However, I don't know if you noticed, but in the scenes for the rest of the season, it seems like he may be in the center of a lot of male drama. I don't know if you caught on to that, but
I did see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's like Victoria, and he just has a completely different personality when he's drunk or something.
Could be.
I don't know. They might have just shown his most tense scenes.
That's true.
It's not like the show is above editing to make certain people look different.
Exactly. So I think he'll stick around. I think he's in it.
I think he's a front runner at this point. I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he's a front runner to at least go to the fantasy suite, and I think he's a front runner for the next Bachelor.
Plus, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's going to stick around at least a few weeks just based upon demographics,
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, she also genuinely seems to like him, though. It's not like who was on Sean's season?
I forgot her name, but I know exactly who. Was it Lisa or something?
I think it was Lisa, yeah. And you could just tell that he just sort of kept her around for kind of no reason, but.
Yeah, that was a very awkward pairing. But yeah, I could see them together.
This I feel like there's actual real chemistry there. So.
For sure.
Or maybe she's just very amenable to gifts of cookies.
Who isn't though? I am.
That's true. That's true. I would definitely talk to somebody if they offered me a cookie, at the very least.
Yes. Yes.
All right. As much as I hate doing this, we have to move on to Mike.
Mike, is he serious? Like, I'm not surprised he left, because he's not serious about being on the show. Like, you could just tell. He doesn't want to find love on The Bachelorette.
Yeah, also, he was weird. One of the more awkward intros, I would say.
Yeah, he was weird.
I just didn't understand what he was going for there. I literally, in my notes about Mike, I wrote, there is no way that this actually works.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a lot of questions about Mike. Like, from his intro to if he's a bartender, then what's his engineering degree? Like, why did he get an engineering degree? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like he was going to try to play up the classic underachiever. I don't really try hard, but I'm secretly incredibly smart. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
He had solid music choices, though, for his
Did he? Alright, what were they?
Black Keys, White Stripes, and Led Zeppelin. So it was like actual music. Like actual good choices.
Those are both good. I like that. Other than that, I mean, he was just kind of weird and awkward, so, yeah. I don't think there's much else to talk about.
Not surprised he left. I wasn't.
Yeah, as soon as he walked out. My favorite thing was that he listed his first, in his 3 best attributes, he listed his first as charisma.
Yeah. I disagree with that.
Yeah, but whatever. Maybe he is very charismatic. I mean, let's be honest, this is a really weird situation to put somebody into, so.
That's true. I mean, I don't think I would be natural with tons of cameras around me, a dating setup, and then knowing it's being filmed for TV. You're not going to be
especially that first night, because that first night you're literally dumped in front of this beautiful house, and this very attractive woman is standing there, and you have to go up and make a first impression.
With a bunch of attractive men.
Exactly. Like, it's very, very different than a normal situation.
It is.
Whatever. I'm glad he's gone, I'll be honest.
Yeah, he didn't add much, so whatever. Goodbye, Mike.
Bye, Mike. Last time we're ever going to talk about you. Too bad. All right, let's move on to the balding pro golfer, Nick S.
Nick S. I like Nick S, I think.
Here's my thing about Nick S. Nick S seems just a little bit too competitive.
He's super into being the best.
Yes. And I feel like he's going to start mixing it up with some people. I actually thought that if Mike made it, that he and Mike were gonna be sort of enemies, but I think that he's going to. I don't know. I just think he's gonna make a lot of enemies in the house. In his bio, he says, "When I truly set a goal and my mind is clear on that goal, then nothing can stop me." Which, it's a noble statement to make, but at the same time, this is a dating profile, so it's just.
It was a little much, and even I don't think this was intentionally malicious or anything, but he said in his intro, as he's on this golf cart, something along the lines of, I'm just paraphrasing here, but oh, don't worry, I'm not a golf cart driver, I'm a pro golfer, like putting down oh, I'm obviously a pro athlete, nothing, that would be so beneath me, and well, I'm glad you don't just drive golf carts for a living or caddy or whatever, I'm glad you're, something else, but he just made it seem very full of himself, cocky, so I could get the competitive thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I was really surprised that he made it, but maybe he made a really good off-screen impression that we didn't see.
Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, the show's only an hour and a half, and you have to capture little bits with 25 men. It's just not going to happen. Not enough airtime.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of Nick S.'s personality, though, throughout the next few episodes.
Yeah, maybe he'll pleasantly surprise us and be super humble and adorable, but probably not.
Probably not. Let's go on to the next person who doesn't really seem to have any personality at all, in Nick V.
Nick V, I mean, I didn't, going into just looking at his bio, I was like, you're gone, you're done. But then seeing his on screen, he made an impression on me. He's really cute.
Okay, I mean, literally the only thing I wrote down about him in my notes was, seems pretty boring.
Yeah, I wrote creepy smile, answers are So, you know, not much either, but he's not the most attractive man in this group, but he also seems genuinely humble and sincere, and it was so cute that he got the first impression rose.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think that he stays that long.
I disagree. I don't think he wins, but I think he stays.
I don't. When I say I don't think he stays that long, I mean I don't think he makes it to Hometowns or Fantasy Suite or anything like that. I think he'll stick around for a few episodes at least, and then I think that she'll be like, "Oh, you're kind of boring."
I'm gonna say Hometown. I'm gonna say he gets a Hometown.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna write that down so I know that I said that, and I'm gonna say Nick V gets Hometown.
Interesting. All right.
I don't know. I think there's something there. I think there's some hidden chemistry to them.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong on this, and he goes home in 4 weeks.
If he goes home next episode, I'm calling you out on that.
Go for it. You do that.
All right. So let's move on to Patrick. I didn't have much else to say about Patrick, honestly.
Patrick was in that whole "I'm better than everyone else."
Oh, right. Yes, I do have things to say about Patrick.
You do have things to say about Patrick.
You need to talk about what happened between Andy and Patrick.
They had a bromance.
They did have a bromance. Too bad they no longer have one, but they had one for a night. It was just one night and then it was over. It was a one-night bromance. Yeah, it was just a cavalcade of pretentiousness.
It was. I mean, it was just.
The thing is, like, he's like, oh, we're on another level than everybody else, and then his favorite artist is Drake.
Yeah, let's just evaluate that. You're putting yourself on this whole other level of sophistication because obviously the rest of the men are not as classy, except for, like you said, okay, well, Drake, your favorite actor's Paul Rudd. Like, I mean, Paul Rudd's fine. I like Paul Rudd, but I'm just saying.
I was gonna say Paul Rudd is he's a pretty fantastic human being himself.
Yeah,
but,
I like
right.
Paul Rudd. I'm just.
It's just he seems to have a very inflated ego. So I'm glad he's gone.
Yep. Bye, Patrick.
All right. Bye.
Bye. There's nothing to say about him.
Let's move on to
Ron.
Ron.
Oh, Ron is the This isn't my original thought, but on the podcast that we like, Right Reason, shout out to them. They said that he looks like Grey Worm.
Hi, Juliet.
Stop it. They said that he looks like Grey Worm, and he totally kind of does.
Okay, I can see it.
A little bit, like the head shape. I don't know. Maybe just because he's exotic looking, and so is Grey Worm. Maybe that's the only thing. But
that is so racist calling him exotic.
He's hometown is Israel. He is exotic.
Also, he said his favorite TV show is Game of Thrones. So
I know.
Maybe there is something to that.
Maybe he purposely said that.
Yeah, he seems really into islands, I guess.
Yeah, he does seem pretty into islands.
Although he seems like a very well-traveled person. Seemed very worldly. So I don't know.
He seemed really friendly. He seemed nice.
Yeah, he did. He was gone, so I guess there's nothing else to really say about him, except my favorite answer in all the bios ever.
All the bios?
Of all these bios, sorry.
Okay.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why? I would be able to travel where I wanted, when I wanted. Some sort of speed travel. Do you think he knows that there's a name for this?
I don't think he does. I don't think he caught on.
Because Josh B in his bio had the exact same answer, except he just called it teleportation.
Yep. I mean, that is definitely the definition of teleportation. I don't know if he was trying to go for something different there, or if words were just failing him, but yep, that is teleportation.
I just really enjoyed that answer. Oh, well, he's gone.
Wait, can I just bring up? I don't think he is gone though.
Is he? I feel like you're right, because I just have him down as being gone, but I feel like now that I think about it, he did get a rose. So I'm cool with that, actually. He seems like a very nice guy. Andy seems really into worldliness.
And I feel like she likes that. Like, I feel like she's into the traveled, cultured, sophisticated thing.
Well, why didn't she keep Patrick then?
I think she did. Wait, is Patrick really?
Patrick the giant douche, you mean?
No, like, I know who Patrick is. I'm saying, is he really gone too? Like, I know we just said he is, but is he actually?
Yeah. I'm like 95% sure that he's gone.
Okay, I wrote him down as not being gone, but that could have just been my bad.
Okay, we'll go on to Rudy, who's definitely gone.
Yeah, Rudy's gone for sure.
And then we'll come back to see if Patrick is still there.
Yeah.
All right. What were your thoughts on Rudy?
Rudy didn't really make too much of an impression on me. He's musical, so that was cool. But other than that, I'm trying to.
He's also an attorney, but he really, really did a bad job of playing that up.
What do you mean? Why was that a bad job?
I mean, it was just so awkward. He's like, oh, like, I know you criminal attorneys do this one specific thing. And he presented it to her, but it was like this handmade card.
I liked it. I thought it was cute.
But it was like, oh, here's this. It would be like if I told you, here's a patient's file, and then I gave you a card that looked like it was from Hallmark.
Okay, I see your point. At the time, I was just like, oh, that's cute. I don't know. He didn't make much of an impression on me, but I thought he seemed like a really sweet guy who wasn't super into himself, and I liked that, so I'm sad he's gone.
I don't know. He just didn't seem like he was really cut out. I don't want to say cut out for the show, but at the same time, he just didn't seem like he fit in with a lot of the other guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was like a Charlene situation, not in terms that he's similar to Charlene, but in terms of he isn't the prototype of male who goes on the show. Mm-hmm. So, it would have been interesting to have some different kind of guys around. I like how in his 3 best attributes he listed happy. I thought that was interesting. Like, Good for you. That's a good one. But yeah, other than that, he's gone. So.
Yeah, I was not surprised if he was gone.
He seemed nice, though. He seemed like an actually nice guy. Oh, well.
Yeah. Although, he did, like, in his bio, he kept using words like rad and killer and super happy dude. So, I don't know. He's
a happy dude. Don't hate on the happy dude.
True.
He's just trying to live his life, man.
Alright.
Just let Rudy live.
I wonder what kind of attorney he is, because he's not a criminal attorney like Andy is. So.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't specify, to my knowledge.
What if he's like a tax lawyer or something like that? Do you think Andy would go for that, or do you think Andy would be like, no, that's too boring?
I think she would.
If you're not a litigator, you better get out of here.
I don't think she'd want someone with the same career as her, because then it couldn't be her thing. Like, it couldn't be her special thing that she does.
That's true.
So,
but I mean, if you were like a traffic lawyer and like got people's parking tickets downgraded.
Yeah, I don't think that would impress her very much.
Probably not. All right. Let's go on to since this guy's definitely out. Since Rudy is definitely out, let's move on to Steven, who is also out.
He is, and I'm sad. I liked Steven.
Yeah, I don't know. In my notes, this is the point where I just wrote, everyone is such a chill bro on the show.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely the definition of chill bro. He definitely was a total Cali boy. I knew she wasn't going to go for that. I think it was painfully obvious that she wasn't going to go for that. But he seemed really nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It was whatever.
He seemed really nice. He has really nice teeth and good eyebrows. So,
okay.
I was all for Steven. I thought he was cute. But I didn't see them starting their lives together at the end of this journey. So.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And he did say Stokes a lot.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
I did not pay attention, I'll be honest. So, let's move on. One more thing. He gets unlimited data, which I'm really insanely jealous of anybody who has that. I just wish I had that.
I I have that.
I know you do, and it really hurts me that other people have it, but whatever. It's my cross to bear, I guess.
You gotta be a martyr sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our last person,
Tassos. I'm confused about Tassos. I have a lot of question marks in my notes because his life seems to have so many different elements to it that I'm just like, who are you? Who are you really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What about the time when he wanted to go back to, the time period he wanted to visit?
Oh, his time period? Well,
yes.
It was very specific. It was like ancient Egypt.
Yes. It's 2686 to 2181. That's the old kingdom. Basically he wants to watch the pyramids get built.
That's just so oddly specific, and the fact that he just like rattled that off, I honestly feel like he just knew those dates and he wanted to like prove that he was smart, so he just used that as his answer. Honestly.
Maybe.
Like, who wants to go to ancient Egypt that far back? They were horrible.
You don't want to watch somebody build a pyramid?
No, I don't want to watch a bunch of slaves die as they're building the pyramids.
I mean, I enjoy history, so maybe this is just me, but I would definitely enjoy watching or going back to that period. It's such a pivotal moment in history too. I mean, Egypt is one of the first great societies that we have. So I don't know. I just think that would be really interesting. I mean, think about it. If it hadn't been for the Egyptians, our system of writing would be completely different. There's just so many little blocks.
I'm not discounting Egypt's importance
of our society that were built on Egypt, but whatever. I digress.
You're really into Egypt. You need to go. I know where your next vacation's gonna be.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Egypt actually. Before we get too stuck on that, he had great movies: The Lion King, Gladiator, and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, those are all pretty solid, and there's diversity there.
Exactly. It's not like, I like Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, and Billy Madison.
Yeah, no. that would be no. But throw in Happy Gilmore, it's like, yes, you can laugh, you can be serious, you can still appreciate Disney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a solid selection. And then he has a dog named Tank.
An English bulldog, all the bulldogs.
Yes. That's a really solid name for a bulldog too, because it's not really aggressive, but it's very solid.
Yeah, it's a sturdy name.
You wouldn't name your bulldog like Diane.
That'd be kind of funny, actually. I like it.
That would be kind of funny. That'd be like naming your kids Sue or something. But yeah, I don't know. I really like him. He seems like he's another guy that seems really well traveled.
Yeah, he seemed very polite and well spoken.
Mm-hmm.
He's very charismatic. I wasn't expecting, just reading his bio, I was like, oh, you seem fine, but we'll see. But he really had a good impression, I think, on her.
Here's my thing that I don't know if this is going to work in his favor or work against him.
Mm-hmm.
If you could be someone else for just one day, who would it be and why? Mick Jagger for the rock star life and fortune. I already have the move.
I think
there could be a lot of dancing involved with Tassos.
So
that could either really help him or really hurt him. I'm not sure.
I think that would help him, but I also think he was just trying to be cute in his answers. I don't think this is going to be another Juan Pablo situation.
Well, I mean, remember, Andy had some real trouble trying to solve her.
Oh yeah, she doesn't dance.
So if he starts trying to dance on her, I don't know how she's gonna react to that.
Or he can show her. He can show her slowly how to dance, show her some moves, and she'll be so impressed, and they'll just live a long, happy, dancing, fulfilled life together.
Very true. I don't know. It'll be interesting because these are not the kind of guys that I was expecting. I was expecting more people like Josh M. Very very bro-ish. I was not expecting the worldliness out of this cast.
No, I wasn't either, and that's not an insult on Andy. It's the type of people that they tend to cast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to catch another Charlene type.
Maybe.
Since she seemed to be pretty well received by everybody. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Oh, I wish Charlene had never been cast on The Bachelor."
Oh, I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, no, she was great. So maybe that's just another thing that Andy said she liked. She said she really appreciated worldly people. Maybe that's what got her onto The Bachelor in the first place.
Hey, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I think we should move on to talking about the show in general, or the episode in general.
Okay, so what stuck out to you, besides the things we just sort of talked about?
I just love Andy. Like, I just need to say...
She's great.
She's perfect. Like, she's so sweet, she's beautiful, and she took so much into making sure each guy felt, like, truly at home, and I think, even though some of them obviously left pretty much immediately, but I think she was very sincere, and I think this is going to turn out to be a redeeming season for Bachelor, because I think obviously last season didn't go well, and then even Dez's season felt kind of flat.
We disagree on this, but go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm just saying, I think obviously last season went terribly, and then even Dez's season I think fell a little flat ratings-wise, so I think this will redeem Bachelor.
I think a lot of people are going to like Andy. She does seem very sweet. We disagree on the fact that I loved Juan Pablo. I wish there could be more Bachelors like Juan Pablo.
There needs to never be another Bachelor like Juan Pablo. Come on.
I saw several people say that this was the worst season, or that was the worst season of The Bachelor ever. I loved it.
That's because you don't watch for the right reasons.
Oh, okay,
Perhaps.
Sure, whatever. You're right, I guess I'm not there for the right reasons. I watch because I want to be entertained. And watching somebody who has absolutely no self-awareness at all try to figure out how to be a reality television star, I thought it was fantastic.
Well, I'm glad that, ABC had their little trial run of how something like that would go. It failed.
Well, I liked him more than I liked Sean.
Sean's a nice guy.
Sean is a placeholder. Let's be real here.
I disagree. I like Sean a lot. I don't like
as a person, he seems like a pretty delightful person. It's just, as The Bachelor, I didn't like him. I thought he let the women run the house. I didn't like that.
The women should run the house. Go, Sean.
That's a different debate for a different day. Though I guess I agree with you on that. But the other reason I really liked Juan Pablo was I thought he carried that season. I mean, there weren't any real great personalities on there. I mean, there was Charlene, but you're not going to tune in to watch a documentary about Charlene's life.
But Charlene and Andy, and then you had Kelly and her dog, like the funny Kelly.
Yeah, but like none of them really made for great TV. And so what made for great TV was Juan Pablo stumbling around trying to figure himself out.
I see your point. I do see your point, but I disagree.
I agree to disagree.
I think the majority of Bachelor audience tunes in to see two people find love. And I think it was clear that wasn't, even though Juan Pablo and Nikki are still together, I think it was clear that it wasn't going to go down the traditional path, and people didn't like that, and ratings went down.
Did ratings actually go down, or did they
Yes,
go up?
ratings have been down for 2 seasons.
Have they? Okay.
But apparently after the premiere of this season, ratings are up, according to one of the producers, so.
Are they? Okay. Well, I think a lot of people like Andy, so.
Yeah, she's likable.
Yeah, she's extremely likable.
Yeah.
How do you think she's going to do as the Bachelorette?
I think she's going to do fine. I mean, I think she's kind of emotional, so I think there's going to be times where it's a little overwhelming for her, and she does get testy, because she does have that sass.
Yeah, we definitely saw that in that little preview at the end of the episode, where she's like, I am here, like, I'm like here for the right reasons or something. And oh no, she says like, this is so real to me. It is so real, which I think is just a great line.
Yeah, and
I think we're definitely going to see some real emotion out of her. So I think that'll be good.
I think it will too. I think she'll do fine.
What really turned me off about last season was that the guys were so petty. It just seemed like all the time it was just, oh, like, look at what this guy's doing. Look at what this guy's doing. Like, no, just handle your own business.
But put a bunch of guys in a house, all dating one woman, and that's gonna happen.
Yeah, but they were it was over the top cattiness that I didn't really look for. I expect that there's going to be some of that, obviously. I mean, these people are basically locked away from the rest of the world for forever, honestly. But I expect more of the drama like we got in the season preview, where it's just guys get a little drunk and then they get pretty aggressive, and then at the end of the day they work it out because they're just bros and they're chill and they're just, they're just there. So I'm optimistic about the season. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. Apparently they're going to Europe.
They are.
Yeah, they were in France in the preview.
They go to France, they go to Brussels, they also go to Venice, and somewhere else in Italy.
Oh, God.
So they get around. They get to some cool places.
Yeah.
Do you think,
Sorry, go ahead.
This is completely switching gears. Do you think she should have allowed Chris Bukowski, the Crasher, to compete on the show?
I would have, if I were her, but that's just because I want everything to be as chaotic as possible.
I knew you were gonna say yes.
But I completely understand why she didn't. I think it was the right move not to let her not to let him compete. Also, we were talking about this because I have no idea who this guy is. Could you explain a little bit more about his background?
Yeah, he was on Emily's season, and he actually made it pretty far. He's some sort of businessman from Chicago, and he's nice enough. He got a little douchebaggy towards the end, but he was also on Bachelor Pad, which I didn't watch, but I know he was on it, and I know he has said that this is not the last you'll see of me on reality television. So I strongly believe that he pulled this stunt as a publicity stunt, and that he genuinely wanted to be on the show, but not to fall in love with Andy, just to be on the show again and kind of regain some of that buzz he's been losing since not being on TV.
Yeah, I got you. Okay,
yeah.
So in that case, it was definitely the right move, but it was not the fun move.
I agree. Part of me was like, ooh, this would be really interesting, and then part of me was like, no, don't do it. He's not there for the right reasons.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It'll be, I don't know. I'm conflicted, like I said. I would have done it just because I think it would have been really funny. I think it would have definitely increased the tension a lot.
It definitely would have.
But, I don't know. Do you think the other guys watch The Bachelor? Or The Bachelorette? Or do you think they're just sort of...
I think most of them...
Oh, we've got better things to do.
I think most of them probably at least watched, after they figured out they were going on, at least went back and watched some of the episodes with Andy in it. But I would say the majority of guys don't, probably.
Okay, so how do you think Chris's introduction would have went down then?
I bet at least one or two of the guys might have known who he was and just, whispering about it. Or she would have straight up told them, maybe, that, hey, he's been on the show before. But I think they would have known something was up by the fact that he wasn't there, naturally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you think they know each other beforehand?
The guys?
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
You don't think there's some sort of giant bachelor orientation where they all sit down in a hotel conference room in like a Holiday Inn or something like that, and then just sort of go over where they're going to be living, what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do?
I bet there is that sort of thing, but not. I feel like they don't want the guys to mesh.
Okay, because if there was that big meeting, I would love to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. Just to because I've got a lot of questions about what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, when they're allowed to do things. Are they allowed to have a phone? Are they allowed to check their email? I
don't think they are. I think they can't contact the world, at all.
Okay.
Unless there's an emergency. If there's a family emergency, I think the family has to get a hold of, the producers, and then they can obviously, contact their family, but... Yeah. I don't think they have I think they literally just have whatever the house, whatever's in the house. So,
So, if a guy was like, oh, it's a really nice day out, I want to, go for a run, or I want to go play a round of golf or
No,
something.
they can't leave. Mm.
Oh, that sucks. So
Yeah.
it's great though, because like that's fantastic. They're literally just stuck there.
Yeah, they can read, they can have a book, they can bring books probably, they can sit by the pool, they can work out inside their house.
Do you think that they just, after a while, they just start to get really bored and just see what the producers will let them do?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, could you bring some go-karts? I want to race them. And see if they'll take those requests? I'm
sure they do. I mean, they have nothing else to do, and there's always people, like, producers around, so I'm sure they're just, like, at some point, a little stir-crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be so boring.
Yeah, it would be. Like, I don't know, it's a really interesting idea that they're just there, and they can't be, especially since, I mean, I doubt a ton of them have spent significant time in that city, so it would just, you really wouldn't know anything about where you'd be going either.
Yeah, and the only time you get to leave and do something cool is maybe that 1 or 2 times a week when there's some sort of date.
Exactly.
So it's rough. I feel for them. It seems hard.
I don't know. I don't feel too sorry for them, but
I mean, yeah, they do have a cool life.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
There's just the fact that I don't think Formula One is that much less hick than NASCAR, which I don't think you agree with that opinion, but I'm standing
I don't. I mean, if you go to a Formula One race, the crowd is much different than if you go to a NASCAR race.
Okay, but like, what about IndyCar is different than NASCAR, but it's like if you go to the 500, it is rowdy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty rowdy if you go to it's pretty crazy if you go to a Formula One race too. But it just attracts a different kind of sports fan, I guess. Just because Formula One is so technical. There's so many different arcane rules and regulations, and the cars are so freaking expensive. It just attracts a different crowd. It's in America, at least. I mean, it's just it's a more global sport too. So I would disagree with the fact that it is. I would say it is much less hick than NASCAR.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's at the same level of NASCAR, but I don't think it's what I would use if you're Andrew and Patrick having a conversation trying to justify why
I would not use that as justification to say I am so much better than everybody else, because that's just patently not true.
Yeah, whatever. I don't like either of them, and I think I confirmed that Patrick's actually still there.
Did you? Okay.
Yes. Sorry, Patrick.
Okay. Oh, my bad, Patrick. Shout out to Patrick.
Good for Patrick.
Not really, but good for Patrick.
Yeah. Other than that, I just don't. Did you want to go through your top 3 predictions? Who you think's going to make it to top 3?
Like I said, at this point, I think it's some combination of Chris Farmer, Aaron Murray's brother, and Markel.
Okay, I think I'm on for Chris and Markel, but I think Nick. I think first row's Nick.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will. Okay. Emma, do you have anything else?
I don't. I'm wrapping this up, I think.
I feel like this was pretty successful.
This was. First podcast ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well.
All right. Well.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's sign off. Bye, Emma.
Bye, Phil.
Stay.